Hello students, welcome you all for the today's lecturing session. And in the previous session we have discussed with what is mean by the energy, then classification of energy sources based on the different parameters, like based on the usability it is categorized into primary sources and the secondary sources, and based on the long term availability it is categorized into renewable sources and non-renewable sources. And we are also discussed about what is the India's production, then what is the need of the non-conventional energy sources, then what are the different energy alternatives, and in the energy alternatives in the previous class we have studied about what is mean by the solar energy, then solar energy utilization through solar thermal energy with an example of liquid flat plate collector and solar photovoltaic cell. And we are also discussed about what are the advantages and disadvantages of the solar energy. Then we are also studied about what is mean by the hydropower, then classification of hydropower. The classification of hydropower, it consists of two things. The one, it is called small hydropower and micro hydropower, and that is working on the principle of water turbine. And later we are also discussed about what is mean by the wind turbine. So in the wind turbine we are completely studied about the working principle as well as the various advantage and disadvantages of the wind turbine. And in continuation with the module 1, in today's class we are discussing with what is mean by the biomass energy, then biomass resources, then advantage and disadvantage of the biomass, then tidal energy. Okay, so in the tidal energy we are also discussing with what are the different types of the tides. Next, very first thing important in case in today's session, it is called what is mean by the biomass, then what is mean by the biomass energy. Okay, so biomass, it is nothing but it is a organic matters. Yes, it is a organic matters of animal fat, vegetable oil, agricultural waste, non-energy crops and grease, and these are all can be converted into the produce the energy in the form of electricity. So this is called as the biomass energy. And biomass energy, it is nothing but it is a energy obtained from the organic matter or biological organisms like animal fat and vegetable oil, and these can be burned directly in order to produce the energy, and that is called as the biomass energy. Okay, I repeat, what is mean by the biomass? The biomass, it is nothing but organic matters like agricultural waste, non-energy crops, sugarcane, starch, cellulose, vegetable oil and animal fat. These are all coming under the categories of biomass, and energy obtained from these biological materials, it is called as biomass energy. And here very important one, it is called the average efficiency of photosynthesis conversion of these biological materials by using the solar energy. It is only 0.5 to 1%. Okay, but this biomass energy, it is a future energy in order to harness the electricity. And also in order to use the biomass energy, initially these biomass are transferred by either chemical or biological process in order to convert into the liquid biofuels or the gaseous biofuels like producer gas. Yes, we have studied in the first year level, it is called what is meant by the liquid biofuel and gaseous biofuel. So liquid biofuels are two types. The one, it is called biomethanol and a bioethanol. So in the biomethanol process we are producing the biomethanol with the help of the recycled grease by using the transfer esterification process. By using the esterification process, that means these biological materials can be converted into the useful form. Okay, so that is called biomethanol. So biomethanol can be used as biodiesel, especially in the diesel engine, and bioethanol can also be used as a petrol in the petrol engine. So that's why in order to convert the biomass energy, or in order to use the biomass energy in the usable form, the biomass are initially transferred by using the either chemical or biological process in order to convert the liquid biofuel and the producer gas. Next, very important one, it is called photosynthesis is the primary responsible for biomass energy. Yes, the animal feed on the plants and plants grow through with the help of the photosynthesis of the solar energy. So that's why here the photosynthesis is the primary responsible for biomass energy, and whatever the cow dung or animal fat or some kind of animal waste we are recovered, so in the rural areas, that can be used to feed on the plants. Then the plants are grow by the help of the photosynthesis process by utilizing the solar energy. So that is the main responsible for biomass energy. That's why we said that the solar energy or biomass energy is the indirect source of solar energy. Okay, so this is regarding to the just an introduction regarding to the biomass energy. And there is a one reaction, we can say that how biomass energy is an indirect source of solar energy by using the photosynthesis process. Okay, so I am just writing in one reaction. Observe here, initially carbon dioxide plus water are converting into the organic elements, organic molecules like CH2O plus oxygen, and this is the basic molecule for carbohydrates, and it will be stable at low temperature. When these molecules are going to heat at the higher temperature, then it will breaks into again carbon dioxide plus water molecule along with the liberation of energy in from 112 kilocalories. Okay, so this is the simple reaction regarding to the photosynthesis is the primary responsible for biomass energy. Okay, in this reaction we can say that here the carbon dioxide reacts with water and it will be get converted into the organic molecules like CH2O. This is the basic molecule for the carbohydrate. This carbohydrate, it will be stable at low temperature. When it is heated at a higher temperature, this again breaks into the carbon dioxide along with the water and the liberation of energy. So that is in the form of 112 kilocalories. So therefore we can say that photosynthesis is the primary responsible for the liberation of or creation of the biomass energy. Then very important one, it is called the classification of biomass energy. These biomass resources are basically fall into three categories. So that is called solid biofuel. Second one, it is called liquid biofuel. And third one, it is called gaseous biofuel. So then what are the examples of solid biofuels? The solid biofuels are nothing but it is the non-energy crops, agricultural waste, wood and coal. It is all considered as the solid biofuels, and it can be burned directly to produce the energy, but only can be used as a domestic fuel, but it cannot be used as an industrial fuel because of low calorific value and high moisture content. Hence it is mainly used for housewarming purpose as well as it is used to heat in order to produce the energy. Okay, so the main examples of the solid biofuel, it is called as the wood, agricultural waste and non-energy crops. Next one, it is called liquid biofuels. These liquid biofuels are mainly produced by the transesterification process in order to convert the recycled grease into the biomethanol. Here the two examples of liquid biofuel, it is called bioethanol and the biomethanol, and these fuels can be used in the diesel engine as well as in the petrol engine, or it is blended with the petrol and the diesel in order to reduce the emission. So that is the liquid biofuels. The examples are like biomethanol and bioethanol. And the next, it is called the gaseous biofuel. The gaseous biofuel, it is nothing but it is the producer gas and synthesizer gas. That means it mainly consists of 55 to 60% of methane and 30 to 40% of carbon dioxide and a small amount of hydrogen and nitrogen. So this is regarding to the classification or the resources of the biofuels. Okay, next it is called advantages. So what are the main advantages of the biomass energy? That is very much important. It is a renewable source of fuel. Yes, what is meant by the renewable? Renewable sources, it is nothing but it is the inexhaustible sources. That means it is not going to exhaust eventually in the future, at least in the time frame of human society, and it can be, if it is exhausted also, it can be renewed within a short period of time. That's why it is called as a renewable sources. Then it is an indigenous source, require little or no foreign exchange. That means it is the native resource. So these resources can be obtained from the rural areas and it can be used to convert the biomass energy. So that's why it is called as the indigenous sources, and it requires little or no foreign exchange like wind energy or solar energy. For example, in the wind energy, we have to, in order to harness the kinetic energy of the wind, we need to construct the wind turbine. Similarly, in case of the solar energy also, in order to harness the solar energy, we need to use the lot of solar panels and so photovoltaic cells. So but it is not, there is no such effects in case of the biomass energy. So next very important one, it is called the forestry and agricultural industry or supply the feedstock. It is also having the economical development in the rural areas. That means whatever the animal wastage we are obtaining, that can be used for feed for the, in order to grow the plants. So that will going to create the economical development in the rural areas. Next, the emission of pollutant from the biomass, it is lesser than the fossil fuels. Yes, the fossil fuels and the nuclear fuels generally liberate the emission of pollutants, that is called carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide. So these are very harmful to the environment, and it will lead to the environmental degradation by global warming. So but there is no such problems are occur usually in case of the biomass energy. Then it is also some of the disadvantages also takes place in case of the biomass energy. First one, it is called, it is dispersed and a land intensive source. That means it occupies the very huge land, so whatever from the animal waste. So that's why, and in order to obtain the biomass energy by the photosynthesis process, it is also required, it occupies the very large area. Next, low energy density. We are already told, so the average efficiency of photosynthesis conversion of solar energy into the biomass energy, it is only 0.5 to 1%. So that is the low energy density in case of the biomass energy, and also it is a labor intensive process. That means the cost of collecting the large quantity for the commercial energy source is also very high. So next very important one, it is called tidal energy. So very first important thing we need to understand here, it is called, what is mean by the tide. So tide, it is nothing but the periodic rise and fall of water level on the sea, it is called as the tide. Okay, then how tides are obtained? The tides are caused due to the universal gravitational effect of heavenly bodies like sun and moon on the earth. Okay, so this is called it as the tide, and how tides are formed. Okay, I repeat, what is meant by the tide? The tides are nothing but it is the periodic rise and fall of water level on the sea. And how tides are occur? The tides are caused by the universal gravitational effect of heavenly bodies like sun and the moon on the earth. And these tides are used to run the turbine, and which in turn coupled to the electrical generator to produce the electricity, and that kind of power, it is called as the tidal power. Okay, so next very important one, what is the different types of tides? So these tides are generally categorized into two types. The first one, it is called high tide or flood tide, and second one, it is called low tide or ebb tide. So what is mean by the high tide? If the height of the water is higher than the mean sea level, then it is called as the high tide or a flood tide. Then similarly, if the height of the water, it is lesser than the mean sea level, then it is called low tide or ebb tide. So then how to harness the tidal energy? That is also very much important. In order to harness the tidal energy from the tides of the ocean, so first and very most important thing, it is called, we need to construct the dam. So what is meant by the dam? The dam is a reservoir which is used to construct the, in order to increase the potential energy of the water. Okay, so in order to harness the tidal energy, the dam is constructed in the mouth of the bay. Okay, and this dam, it is also having the large gate in it, and it also contains the low head water turbine. Okay, it also contains the low head water turbine, and along with that it contains the large gate in it, and this dam is constructed across the mouth of the bay. And also difference in water level, it is always occurs in between the sea and the tidal basin. Okay, here the difference in water level, it is occurs in the sea and the tidal basin, and this tidal basin, it is filled during the high tide and it is emptied during the low tide, and whatever the water, it is passes through the sea and the tidal basin with the help of the sluice gate, and in the sluice gate we are placing the water turbine, and this water turbine, it is continuously during both low tide as well as the high tide, and it will going to generate the electricity. So this is regarding to the construction of the tidal energy. I repeat, what is meant by the tidal energy? In order to harness the tidal energy, the dam is constructed across the mouth of the bay, and it also consists of the sluice gate and low head water turbine, and difference in water level is takes place in the sea as well as in the tidal basin, and this tidal basin, it is filled during the high tide. That means during the high tide the water is flow in this direction and it completely fill the tidal basin, and during the low tide the water is flow in the reverse direction, hence it will going to empty during the low tide. And also in the dam, the reversible water turbines are placed, hence it will going to run both during the high tide as well as during the low tide condition. Okay, and also this turbine, it is coupled to the electrical generator to produce the electricity. Okay, so whatever the potential energy developed during the high tide as well as the low tide, then it is passes through the sluice gate and the turbo electrical generator in order to convert the potential energy of the water into the mechanical energy, which in turn can be converted into electrical energy in the form of rotation of the shaft. So this is regarding to the harnessing of tidal energy. Okay, so in this session we have discussed with what is meant by the biomass energy. So biomass, it is nothing but it's a organic matters like agricultural waste, non-energy crop, cellulose, then starch, then vegetable oil, animal fat, and energy obtained from these biological materials like plants and animals, that is called it as the biomass energy. And also average efficiency, photosynthesis conversion of solar energy into biomass energy, it is only 0.5 to 1%, that is why it is called low energy density. Then in order to use the biomass energy, biomass are initially transferred by chemical or biological process to produce the liquid biofuels and producer gas by using the trans-esterification process, and it is very important when it is called photosynthesis is the primary responsible for biomass energy. Okay, next very important one, it is called biomass energy. It is an indirect source of solar energy, and it can be understand with the help of the small reaction. Here the carbon dioxide and water reacts to form the organic molecules like CH2O along with the liberation of oxygen, and it will be stable at low temperature. When it is heated at higher temperature, it again breaks into the carbon dioxide and the water along with the liberation of large amount of energy in terms of 112 kilocalories. Then very important one, it is called the biomass categories. Biomass are mainly categorized into three types, that is called solid biofuel, liquid biofuel, gaseous biofuel. So solid biofuels are, it is called wood, agricultural waste, non-energy crops, it can be burned directly to produce the energy. Similarly, liquid biofuel, with the help of the trans-esterification process, we can convert into two, it is called biomethanol and bioethanol. These can be used in the engines, or it is blended with the petrol and the diesel in order to run the engine. Then gaseous biofuels are called as the producer gas and the synthesis gas. It mainly consists of 55 to 60% of methane, 30 to 40% of carbon dioxide, and hydrogen, nitrogen. Advantages, it is a renewable source and it is an indigenous source which require little or no foreign exchange. Forestry and agricultural industry supply the feedstock, it is also have the economic development in the rural areas. Then emission of the pollutants from the biomass energy is very much less compared to the fossil fuels. Then disadvantages, it is a land intensive process, labor intensive process, it is also low energy density. Then what is meant by the tides? So tides are called it as the periodic rise and fall of water level on the sea. And there are two types of tides, the one it is called high tide, other one it is called low tide. And very important one, how tides are formed. The tides are caused due to universal gravitational effect of heavenly bodies like sun and a moon on the earth. Then the tidal power, so whatever the energy obtained from the tides of the ocean, it is used to run the turbo electrical generator, so that is called as the tidal power. And the maximum tidal energy we can extract, it is called 1,20,000 megawatts. And there are two types of tides, the one it is called high tide, another is called low tide. If the height of the water it is higher than the mean sea level, then it is called high tide. If the height of the water is below the mean sea level, then it is called low tide. In order to harness the energy from the tides of the ocean, here first the dam is constructed across the mouth of the bay. Then the difference in water level is created between the sea and the tidal basin. Then the dam is mainly consists of large sluice gate along with the low head reversible auto turbine. The tidal basin is filled during the high tide and it is emptied during the low tide by passing through the sluice gate. Whenever it passing through the sluice gate, it is run the low head reversible auto turbine, hence it will going to generate the continuously electricity. So this is regarding to the harnessing of tidal energy. Welcome back, students. Now in today's session we are continuing with the another two types of energy. It is called wave energy and ocean thermal energy conversion. Okay, so before we are understanding what exactly the wave energy, first we need to know how waves are formed and what is the reason for the generation of wave in the seashore. Okay, so very first important thing, what is mean by the wave? So waves are caused by the transfer of energy from the surface of the wind to the sea. And also this generation of wave, it is mainly depends upon the two parameters, that is called the rate of energy transfer depends upon the two parameters like wind speed and the distance at which the wind reacts with the water. Okay, these are the two main reasons for the generation of waves in the seashore. Next, then what is mean by the wave energy? So wave energy, it is defined as it is the rate of energy transfer, or it is the energy of ocean surface wave, and that captures to produce the energy to perform the useful work. And that useful work, it may be used to generate the electrical power, or it is also used for desalination purpose, or it is also used for pumping the water. So that's why wave energy is very much important. Okay, I repeat what is meant by the wave energy. Wave energy, it is nothing but it is the energy of ocean surface wave, and that captures to do useful work. That useful work, it may be in the electrical power generation, desalination and pumping of water. Okay, so that is regarding to the wave energy. Then the energy flux in the wave motion, it is very much higher compared to the solar energy as well as the wind energy. In the previous class we have discussed about the solar energy flux. The solar radiation flux, even at the hottest region, it is only 1 kilowatt per meter square, and for the whole day it is 7 kilowatt per meter square. So that means solar energy is a dilute form of energy. So but the wave energy, whatever it is obtained, it is very much higher than compared to the solar and the wind. And also how wave motion is formed. The wave motion, it is very much important. The wave motion, it is usually higher at the surface and it will get diminishes when it is going into the deeper. Okay, so that is regarding to the wave motion. And the wave motion at the deep surface water, then it is called it as the pressure energy instead of it is called it as the wave energy. Okay, at the deep sea water, the wave energy we can also call it as the pressure energy. Okay, next, how wave heights are formed and what are the parameters regarding to the wave height? The wave height, it is again depends upon the three parameters. Similarly, the parameters like the wave motion. So wave height is depends upon the wind speed and the distance at which wind reacts with the water, and as well as depth of topography and the sea flow. So these are the three parameters is very much important in regarding to the wave height. Okay, I repeat what is mean by the wave. The waves are caused by the transfer of energy from the surface of the wind to the sea. Next, and the rate of energy transfer, it just depends upon the wind speed and the distance over which wind reacts with the water. Then very important one, what is mean by the wave energy? Wave energy, it is nothing but ocean surface energy to do useful work, that in the form of electrical power generation, desalination or pumping of the water. And energy flux obtained by the wave energy, it is very much higher compared to the solar and the wind, because solar is a dilute source of energy. Then the wave motion, it is usually higher at the surface and it will be get diminishes at the deeper. And the wave height, it is depends upon the three parameters, that is called wind speed, distance over which wind reacts with the water, and the depth of topography and the sea flow. Okay, so next it is called how to harness the wave energy. That is very much important. In order to harness the wave energy, we are having the one line diagram. Very simple. So in case of harnessing the wave energy, it mainly consists of two chambers along with a turbine. The upper chamber it is called as the air surface chamber, and the lower chamber it is called as the water chamber. And in the upper surface chamber, we are placing the turbine, and this is called as the reversible turbine. That means we can generate the power in both the directions. So that is why it is called as the reversible turbine. So what happens? The working. So when water enters into the low chamber, okay, when water enters into the low chamber, already water present in the low chamber, it is then rises up, and this pushes the air present in the surface of the water to move into the upper chamber, and this will going to pushes the turbine, and then it will going to generate the electricity with respect to the generator. I repeat, when wave enters into the lower chamber, then whatever the water present in the lower chamber, it is rises up, and whatever the air present on the surface of the water is moves into the upper chamber, and it will going to turn the turbine. So this in turn coupled to the electrical generator to produce electricity. Similarly, when water drips down, what happens? Similarly, when water drips down, suction is created in the upper chamber, hence the air flows back in. This again turns the turbine to generate the electricity in the form of rotation of the shaft. So this is the simple working of wave energy. Okay, I repeat, what is the working of the wave energy? The wave energy, it mainly consists of two chambers along with a turbine. So one it is called lower chamber, other one it is called as the upper chamber, and turbine it is placed in the upper chamber. When water it is enters into the lower chamber, this pushes the water in the lower chamber to the upper chamber. Then whatever the air present on the surface of the water, it is then enters into the upper chamber, and this pushes the turbine, and the turbine it is in turn collected to the electrical generator through a shaft, hence electricity is produced. When water drops down, then suction is created, then air flows back into the upper chamber, and again this pushes the turbine, then again it runs the electrical generator, then electricity is going to produced. Then what are the advantages of the wave energy? Okay, already told the main advantages, it is called availability of large energy flux. So that means the energy flux of the wave energy, it is very much higher than the solar and wind energy. Then the productivity of wave condition over a period of time. That means it is not limited to the only particular time, it can be extended to for a period of time. So wave energy flux, that's why it is very much higher compared to solar and wind energy. Then what are the disadvantages? Irregularity of wave pattern. So that means irregularity of wave pattern in terms of amplitude, phase, and also direction. Okay, irregularity of wave pattern in terms of amplitude, phase, and direction, hence which makes very difficult to produce the constant electrical power generation. Okay, so wave it is going to vary with a different amplitude, phase, and direction. That's why it is very difficult to extract the constant electrical power generation with the wave power plant. Next, slow and irregular motion of wave difficult to couple to the electrical generator. Yes, here slow and irregular motion of wave, it is very difficult to couple to the electrical generator to produce the energy. That means the waves are required in order to produce the electrical power generation. Then sometimes system is also exposed to the occasional extreme stormy condition. That is normally happens in case of the tsunami. So during the tsunami, the streams are directly passes over the system, then it will going to affect the entire turbine. So this is the problem regarding to the wave energy. Next, it is called what is meant by the ocean temperature difference or ocean thermal energy conversion. So ocean thermal energy conversion, it is the renewable technology that uses the temperature difference between the ocean surface water to produce the clean electricity day and night and year round. Okay, so that is called as the ocean thermal energy conversion. So that means ocean thermal energy conversion, it is a renewable technology that uses the ocean temperature difference to produce the clean electricity day and night and year round. And how ocean thermal energy conversion it works? The ocean thermal energy conversion works on the principle of the temperature difference between cold deep sea water that is supplied from the deep ocean and the surface sea water warmed by the wind. Okay, surface sea water warmed by the sun. So this is the principle for the working of ocean thermal energy conversion. So ocean thermal energy conversion, it is works on the basic principle of the temperature difference between cold deep sea water circulating in the ocean and ocean surface water warmed by the sun. And the usually temperature difference, it is around 20 degrees centigrade. So that means cold deep sea water, it is usually having the temperature of 5 degrees centigrade, and the ocean warm surface water, it is having the temperature of 25 degrees centigrade. So 25 minus 5, this 20 degree difference, it is mainly used to obtain the ocean thermal energy conversion power. Okay, and because of this low temperature difference from the ocean thermal, so we need to use the working fluid with a low boiling point. So the working fluid with a low boiling point, it is nothing but ammonia. So here ammonia, it is used to obtain the ocean thermal power. Okay, so this is the simple construction for the working of ocean thermal energy conversion plant. So here ammonia, it is used as the working fluid. Okay, so what happens in case of the ocean thermal energy conversion, it is very much important. Here the ocean thermal energy conversion uses ocean surface sea water. Okay, so the ocean thermal energy conversion uses ocean's surface sea water of having the temperature of 25 degrees centigrade to vaporize the liquid ammonia in the evaporator. Okay, so once the liquid ammonia is vaporized, then it is expands in the turbine and spins the turbine. This turbine, it is in turn coupled to the electrical generator to produce the electricity. Then this vaporized working fluid, it is then enters into the condenser. Okay, the vaporized working fluid, it is then enters into the condenser. So in the condenser, it is condenses to liquid working fluid by pumping the cold deep sea water into the condenser. Okay, by pumping the cold deep sea water into the condenser. Then this working fluid is gives off its latent heat to the atmosphere, then it will get converted into the liquid ammonia. This liquid ammonia, it is again sent back to the evaporator, and this will go into continuously produces the electricity in the turbo electrical generator. So this is the working of ocean thermal energy conversion. So ocean thermal energy conversion uses the ocean surface sea water of having the temperature of about 25 degrees centigrade to evaporate the working fluid like liquid ammonia in the evaporator. So once the working fluid is vaporized, then it is expands in the turbine and spins the turbine, and it will in turn couple to the electrical generator to produce the electricity. Then this working fluid, it is enters into the condenser, where the cold deep sea water pumped from the deep ocean layer, where the working fluid, it is again condensed back into the liquid fluid. So again this liquid fluid is sent back to the evaporator, hence this working fluid is continuously used for power generation. So this is regarding to the working of ocean thermal energy conversion. Then what are the advantages of ocean thermal energy conversion? It is a fuel free. That means we are going to use the fossil fuels in order to run any kind of parts of the ocean thermal energy conversion plant. Then it is also low environmental impact. So there is no liberation of carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, hydrocarbons, etc. So that's why it is very low environmental impact. Then here can supply pure water for drinking as well as the irrigation purpose. Then what are the disadvantages? The disadvantages are capital cost, it is very high, and efficiency of the conversion, it is also very much low compared to the other renewable energy sources. The need of large size turbines, because here we are using the low pressure and the temperature in order to convert the working fluid, and it occupies the very high specific volume. So that's why it increases the cost of the process. This is regarding to the ocean thermal energy conversion.